And we've been joined by SMU coach Chad Morris. The Mustangs are 1-2 overall. SMU was in action this past Saturday at TCU. TCU won the game 56-37. Up next for SMU will be this Saturday. The Mustangs take on James Madison at Ford Stadium. It will be a 7 p.m. Eastern Time start, and the game will be on ESPN3. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the short road trip to TCU and tell us what you expect to see as you're back at Ford Stadium Saturday against James Madison, please.
Well, obviously we had a really tough opponent this past week over at TCU. I thought our guys played really well. Had the game within 5 points with about 8 minutes to go. We cut the lead to 5 and just unable to get the ball back. They made a couple of big plays on us, and there at the end of the game that they kind of put the stretched the lead on us. We again, just our guys battled back. We're down 42-17 at one point in time in the second half, and battled and cut it to 5. But showing a lot of resilience. Obviously, we're going to need everything we can get this week, as we got James Madison coming in, one of the top programs. Very familiar with that program being on the East Coast, and we're going to have to play really, really well and keep improving.
Great questions for Coach Morris, please. Star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
And we have a question from Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports.
Hey, Coach. I wondered if you heard about Brett Bielema's remarks regarding the spread offense. Not so much his remarks, but his statement about the spread offenses to the Texas high school coaches. I assume that was that summer, last summer. And as an old Texas high school coach, what did you think of that?
Well, Dennis, my philosophy and always has been. I mean, my biggest opponent right now is the SMU Mustangs, and that's our biggest opponent. And look, I got so much other stuff going on to worry about. Something like that. It's we got to keep improving. We got to keep getting better, and that's really the biggest thing. I'm not going to take any distraction away from what our kids have done to this point in time. I think we're playing well. I think we're a very much improved football team. I would be willing to put our non-conference schedule up against anybody in the country, and our guys are playing well right now.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you agree with Cliff Kingsbury's estimate that 90% of Texas high schools use the spread?
I would say that's probably fairly close. I mean, I don't know that to be exact, but I think there's a lot of them that are doing it, and there's a lot of them that are looking at doing it and moving in the direction of doing it. And I know that for a fact because we've had so many high school coaches come in and visit with us over during the spring. We had well over 1,000 high school coaches come into our office this spring and just learning about what we do. I mean, you say we're really, I'm a run-oriented football team. I mean, that's what we do. And so there's many different versions of the spread out there. And so it's just kind of what your definition of the spread is. I mean, people call us a spread, but we're a two-back run-oriented spread offense.
Right. And you had some success against TCU. Do they look like a team that's missing 7 defensive starters since the beginning of the season?
Well, I think that those, obviously very well coached. I mean, very well coached, very sound. They've been running this system for many, many years, and I'm giving all the props to Coach Patterson and his group. I know that he's had a string of injuries and that's put them down in some numbers in some areas. And I think, as far as talent for talent, I think they're obviously their top group that they put on the field is extremely talented. I think where it really shows at times is probably in some of the depth areas that they have.
Yeah. Thank you. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go next to Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Dan, please check your mute button. We're unable to hear you.
We can take the next question. Maybe put Dan back in the queue if you would.
Thank you. And we'll go next to Matt Jones with the Daily News Record.
Hey, Chad, do you guys have to guard against any sort of a hangover going into James Madison?
No. When you're 1-2, you better not. And I know the caliber of opponent we're about to face, and know what they're going to be bringing out here to us. And very well respected program that's won a lot of games, and they operate at a very high pace on offense and very aggressive on defense, very multiple. And I'm impressed with those guys. Again, we're trying to build ourselves. We're trying to build off the momentum that we've had the first 3 weeks of the season. Obviously, the opponents that we've played the first 3 weeks with Baylor and TCU in there, again, I'll put those guys up against any other team in the country that's had to play the schedule we've played. And so we know that our guys are going to be prepared. Our guys will be ready to go. But our biggest opponent is the SMU Mustangs.
I know you faced Everett Withers' defenses a little bit at Carolina. What do you expect out of their defense?
Well, extremely well coached. We played him when he was at Carolina, and then we played him when he was at Ohio State, and extremely well coached, very fundamentally sound, going to be aggressive, going to mix his fronts up, going to mix his coverage up, going to force you to do some things and that you don't really want to do at times, and with the way he brings his pressures. And so again, we've got our work cut out for us, and those guys will be prepared. I mean, they're getting a big road trip to come out here, and they're excited about that, I'm sure. But we've got to continue to build off of what we've done the first 3 weeks, and just capitalize on the momentum that we have right now.
What do you expect out of Adley, and kind of how impressive is what he's doing at kind of the FCS level?
It's unbelievable. Obviously he's extremely talented, and I think what he's done at this point is speaks for itself. But again, these guys they're going to come out here, and our guys are fully aware of the tradition that they have, and we've got to have ourselves ready to go.
Yeah. What I don't know, still early in the week, but what did you see out of film? Why did he maybe struggle in that first half on Saturday?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just some different things that they were doing to him, and causing him to force a few things. But I can promise you he'll get it right.
Gotcha. Thanks, Chad.
We'll go next to Ronnie Woodward with Greenville Daily Reflector.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I imagine you've probably been asked this, but just kind of looking at your schedule, the first 6 games are all in Texas, 4 of the first 5 at home. Have you enjoyed that? I mean, has that been good to your team at all, just as far as kind of staying close to home at this first stretch and not having to travel too far away? Well,
I think what it's done for us, more importantly than anything, it's allowed our fans to get in the flow of this new era and the momentum that we've captured. Most of our games have been night games, so it's allowed our fans to really get into the game and get excited. And we've had some big crowds. Our first 2 home games, expecting another big sellout crowd this week. And so that's really what it's done. It's really allowed our fans to get into it, and it's allowed our players obviously to feed off of their momentum. Our student body's been outstanding, and expect another big showing with them this week. So I think that's it. I think it's really helped our fans as much as helped anybody.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
And any other questions for Coach Morris, please?
We do have a question from Shannon Green of the Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Coach. Just curious to know, do you have a preference at all on noon games or early games versus night games?
Well, it's kind of twofold here, because as a coach, in your preparation standpoint, you always love the afternoon games, because you get a chance to get home and kind of get away from it and grade the film, spend some family time, and then you start your prep day on Sunday. And so from a coaching standpoint, you always enjoy that time. But from a total program standpoint and what we're building here, to get our fans involved. We really want our we really enjoy these night games, and so because it really does, it allows our fans to get in the game and enjoy it and kind of get ready to go.
All right, thanks so much.
Coach, we thank you for your time this morning. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Thank you.
Okay, again, that is Coach Chad Morris from SMU. The Mustangs host James Madison this Saturday. They'll be at Ford Stadium, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN3.